Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Creative Minds podcast. Today, we have a very special guest on the show. This is Will McDaniel. Will, how are you doing today?
Hello, I'm really good, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good, especially since you're on this podcast.
Oh, thanks.
And the reason for that is, that ties into my first question. What do you do on your YouTube channel? Since you are a YouTuber, I forgot to mention that.
Yeah, what do I do? How do I explain what I do?
Right?
Yeah.
I figured you would know, but, you know, it's okay.
Yeah, I never have a good answer for that question. Weird comedy sketches with lots of, I suppose, practical effects and puppets and things is the most succinct way I can think to describe it.
I originally thought comedy sketches too, but the more I thought about it, I thought of them more as like short films in a way.
Oh, that's nice of you to say. That's probably a bit more flattering than I'd be, but yeah.
No, that's fair. I get that. It made more sense to me the more I looked at it. But yeah, in your sketches, you have a lot of these monsters, which I think really sets you apart from like every content creator I've seen. So my question is, what inspired you to incorporate these monsters into your sketches? Because for a while you didn't do that, and then all of a sudden you just kind of did that. So what was the thought process with that?
Must have been like making YouTube videos when my friends were like working and busy, because I think I started off probably having a conversation with an animate object or something. And
right,
then,
yeah. That was, I think it was a cup or a mug, right?
Oh, so. yeah, that was
Mm-hmm,
wild,
yeah.
But yes, yeah, that kind of thing. And then I just, thought, it'd be nice if I could actually have a conversation with something that wasn't a mug. And then, like, puppets. And yeah, it's the easiest way of thinking, because I'm not really an animator, because I thought the other thing to do would be, make animations, but I wouldn't really know where to start. And I like making things with my hands, so just thought I'd, try my hand at making
that kind of leads into my next thing. Like, what is your background with like arts, crafts, and puppetry? Was it something that you just like started doing and got better at it, or did you have like a class or something that you took, or
no, my background's
like in your life?
Yeah, it's a bit of a weird route. I actually qualified in architecture.
Really?
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah, I could see that.
Like towards the end of my course, I started doing videos in the course, and my tutor was like crazy and loved it, and like encouraged me to do like Cronenberg kind of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, I made lots of weird little meaty props, as you'd imagine. And then it just went from there. Yeah, it's just all kind of self-taught and various YouTube tutorials and just kind of making it up as I go along, really.
Yeah, you mentioned just now about meat.
Yes.
Because in a lot of your videos, I noticed the concept or even like the word meat gets thrown around a lot. So, like, do you happen to have, like, this weird fascination with meat or something? Or is it just, like, or did it just kind of happen?
I'm not really...
Tongue-in-cheek question, I know.
Yeah. Again, that was just kind of evolved naturally. It was just because I started building stuff and I got a bit obsessed with using liquid latex. As you probably noticed.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah. And it's so easy to make stuff look good if it's that, because the natural shade of the latex lends itself to kind of meaty, weird, skinny, fleshy things. That's the kind of route I've gone down at the moment.
And it works. I mean, it really stands out for sure.
Thanks.
One of the things that interested me the most was like your making of series.
Oh, cool.
So was there a specific reason that you started like making the series in general? Was it just to teach people, or do you think there was like a deeper reason?
Well, it was a bit of a few reasons. I wanted to, because the sketches themselves take so long, so I was keen to have stuff on my channel in between. So it was kind of wanting to put some, I wouldn't say filler, because I enjoy making them as well.
Yeah.
But
I wouldn't call it filler.
No, thanks. No, I don't like to think of them as kind of, they're just slightly easier to make than the main.
Well, that's fair. Yeah.
Wanting to teach is also kind of the specific type of puppet, I guess. And I was thinking if anyone was interested, it'd be quite nice to have a kind of teaching resource out there.
Right.
I suppose.
I mean, in a way, you're providing value, because like literally nobody else could teach that, so you're kind of just there, which is kind of cool. I really do like that. One of the reasons I don't call it filler is because you integrate these exclusive segments and monsters into the series.
Yeah.
Was that just a way to like entertain the viewer?
Yeah. Again, that's kind of spiraled. It started off as because I was worried the first one I made, I was worried it was a bit too bland and a bit too just like information.
I mean, especially like the visual breakdowns for sure.
Yeah, it just gets a bit dense and a bit like, and there's a lot going on and I kind of speed through it. Yeah, I didn't want it to become too just a wall of information. Yeah, started bringing in these extra characters, and then actually it turned into, I got much more excited about making like another kind of almost comedy sketch within the tutorial video. So then I just started enjoying it too much and got carried away.
As well, in the making of series, you have this character called Materialist, right?
Yeah, I like him.
What's the whole shtick with that? Because he appears the most.
Yeah.
So is there like a deeper thing you're trying to convey, or is it just like, he's there?
Because I have a massive love for a British TV show called The Mighty Boosh, which I feel like he's almost a complete rip-off of that show. But it's my
inspiration, not
yeah.
rip-off.
Yeah. And I just made him, because I was just thinking of an interesting way of putting the title in for materials list, and I thought, I'll make it a guy that I can chat to. And then I actually really just fell in love with him, and I want to keep bringing him back and try and create some kind of narrative around him in the future, just because I quite enjoy playing him as well.
I was kind of detecting kind of like a little storyline or narrative thing, because he's like the one that keeps appearing.
Yeah.
And so I've obviously, if you don't want to say anything, that's totally fine, but it's something that I detected. I'm like, wait a minute, I see what's going on here. Maybe, I don't know. I'm the kind of person to look into stuff way too much. Yeah. So I could be totally wrong, but it could go both ways. I could see.
But I'm keen to bring him back. I don't actually have a firm narrative for him yet. I've got some ideas.
Well, that's fair, and you don't need one. I was just wondering.
Yeah,
that would really take the making of series in a totally different direction that people weren't expecting. But I don't want to be that influence, like you do you. But
I think you're not far off.
Yeah, I figured. I mean, it's way easier to do Materialist, I'm sure, because it's like a mask and a costume, not a puppet. So I'm sure that's kind of a relief for once, especially the amount of stuff you do in your videos. So I'm sure it does help ease the production.
Yeah, he was the easiest to make, definitely, and probably the easiest to film. But he's one of the more embarrassing things to film, because in the last video I'm running around a load of public footpaths near me dressed in this ridiculous face paint mask.
Right? Yeah.
I didn't meet anyone, luckily, but it could have been worse.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that brings up something else. Like, how comfortable are you like doing that outside your house?
Not very.
I would not be able to do that.
No, there's another video I made called Breakup Buddy, where I'm biking around with him in my bike basket. That was also quite awkward to film.
I couldn't imagine your neighbors. I mean, like, it's like, what is he doing? No, but it's so funny, because I think I actually found you because of the Breakup Buddy video, because you did the collaboration with Tomska.
Yeah.
I feel like that opens up a whole different conversation. How in the world did you manage that? Because Tomska is like one of the bigger skit channels that is like still doing skits to this day. So how in the world did that connection happen?
I don't know the exact beginnings. I mean, I was Patreoning him for a while when he had his Patreon a few years ago now, and I also sent him an email because I remember watching one of his vlogs, and he said he found the guy who writes his music through. He just emailed him and said, "Dude, if you ever need any music, here's my contact details." So I just sent him an email saying, "Look, if you ever need any weird props, I'm your guy." And he,
oh, okay, that's interesting.
And then I'd never heard anything back, which is fine. I must get
that's fair.
And then randomly, I don't know, a few months later, he just shouted me out on one of his videos on his second channel out of nowhere. I was like, oh, whoa.
I didn't know about that.
Yeah, it took me from like 200 to like, I think it was like 1,500, which was pretty cool.
Holy cow, really?
Yeah, just from that, which was awesome.
200 as in 200 subscribers?
Yeah.
Holy cow.
I just jumped up overnight, which was cool.
That is crazy.
Yeah, and then I think I met him. There was a convention. There's one in London I went to a couple of times, and he was really nice. I had a chat to him. So only briefly I met him a couple of times, and then I think I must have just messaged him on Twitter again and just said, "Hey, dude, I know you're quite a big channel and all, but would you mind doing this?" And he was totally cool with it, and just
wow.
Yeah, just sent me the recordings over. Just a really helpful guy.
Yeah, that's interesting, because I could not figure it out. I thought it was just like you knew some people in like the YouTube space, or if it was just like... But yeah, this situation is very interesting.
Yeah, it's all thanks to him.
100%, man. Because that video in and of itself with like the meat monster, it was crazy.
Yeah.
And that, I think, it was because of that video that I like discovered your stuff.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh my goodness, this guy, he's doing some crazy stuff, but I'm in love with it. It's great. Nice. Besides Tomska, who would you say that you're like friends with other than him, like in the YouTube space?
Well, there's a load of nice, like a lot of his friends I've kind of met, but I've only, because I live they're all in London, I live out in the sticks, so I kind of only see them at specific times, like these conventions and stuff. They're all like really nice, but I don't see them that often. But I'd say there's Tom, and then there's a guy called Sammy Paul, who's a really nice guy. Like Tom's co-writers are both really nice, and a few other. It's mostly Tom's friends, basically. Kick the PJ as well, who's a really nice guy.
Nice.
You know him. Yeah.
I mean, that does make a lot of sense. Since you have have spoken with these like bigger YouTubers. Would you consider yourself a big YouTuber or a small YouTuber, and why?
That's a really tricky question.
I know, right? Because your situation is so specific to you. I know my answer, but I want to know your thoughts on this.
Subscriber count wise, I would say, I mean, I'm by no means a big YouTuber if you compare me to everyone on the platform, but compared to where I was a year ago, the channel's massive compared. I mean, a year ago, I think I got a notification like a few days ago saying it was a year since Breakup Buddy. It literally blew up 2 days after I put that up, and I was on 3,500, which was good.
Wow.
But yeah, I mean, within a week I'd gone up to something crazy like 50 or 60. It just went nuts for the first couple of weeks. So yeah, in terms of numbers, I'd say I'd probably call myself a bigger YouTuber, but not a massive YouTuber. Yeah.
I mean, you're the biggest YouTuber on this podcast right now. So so I would consider you a big YouTuber, especially since my channel has like 1,600 or something like that. But
I don't.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I don't feel like one.
No, I get that.
Yeah. Well, it's so recent for a start, but like I've not really been invited to stuff, which is cool.
Okay, that's fair.
It hasn't permeated the rest of my life.
Well, yeah. Makes sense. Well, it's the other thing of like what you do is so unique. Like it would be tough for people to find you because of how specifically weird your content is, which isn't bad.
No,
it makes it stand out way more.
It's very neat, but no, it's cool. It's allowed me to do this very recently as a kind of like a full-time job. So
I was literally about to ask you about that. So you do it full-time then?
Yeah, very recently I've started doing it this year. Yeah, which is awesome.
So is that because of like the ad revenue and like the patrons as well, and like the merch sales and everything?
Yeah. It's like the Patreons, it really helps. And
for sure.
Yeah, it's the ad revenues at the again, it's all down to the will and the whim of YouTube.
Well, I know that that's an additional thing to help. Like, I'm not saying, I don't think you should rely on like AdSense. That's why I think multiple revenue streams very smart, which I like what you do in like that sense.
No, it's nice. I've got people willing to support me and kind of help with that. But at the moment, YouTube because they're still kind of sharing, especially Breakup Buddy, so it's still kind of helping to support me, the ad revenue at the moment. So it's good. But I suppose it just you never know, do you, with YouTube?
Yeah. Speaking of like monetization and everything, you did like your first, I believe, sponsorship in like one of your making of videos, right?
Yeah.
What was the thought process with integrating a sponsorship like that?
I feel like it's out there enough that enough people do them nowadays that most people, as long as not every video is sponsored, your fans hopefully have a bit of goodwill towards it. And I was thinking, it kind of helps you get new gear and pay for food and stuff. And I was thinking like I wanted to do the right sponsorship because I've been approached by a few people that just wouldn't fit, and I felt like Skillshare, especially for one of my tutorial videos.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I felt they'd be a good fit. I don't know if I'd do another one unless obviously unless it was the right one, and I wouldn't want to do too many.
I think that's the correct way to do sponsorships for sure.
Yeah,
and like the way you did it was so perfectly integrated, in my opinion.
Thanks.
Especially because like you had the monsters in on it and all and everything.
Yeah.
So it was still keeping up with the entertainment, but at the same time, it was also informing you about this thing.
Yeah. Well, that's what. Yeah. Thanks. That's what I was trying to do because I wanted it to feel like it. You weren't being like, advert. At least I was hoping it'd be a little bit funny while still, doing the job of an advert.
I was hoping that was like the mindset with that, because if you were to throw that in like one of your normal videos, I don't think it would work as well. Because it wouldn't. Especially since, like, I don't know. I've also noticed this with, like, the end of your videos. I think it's quite interesting how you go from, like, sometimes, like, you end up, like, dying or something. But at the end of the video, you're, like, totally fine at the end screen. You're like, hello. Which, at first I was like, okay. But at the same time, I love it because you have these impressionable children, I'm sure, watching these videos. So them knowing that you're like actually okay, I think that's like great. So I appreciate that you do that as well.
Yeah.
I mean, fair enough. You got to shout out your patrons. I get that. But like, I just thought that was interesting, especially the one about this hexagon.
Oh, yeah.
Octagon. Yeah.
Yeah. When I'm
you're like in the octagon dimension or whatever. And it's just like,
just my shit with a bit of paper in the back.
Yeah.
In a way, it's kind of nice to hear that you found it a bit jarring, because I find that quite funny, the idea of it suddenly like breaking the illusion.
Yeah, no, I get that, because like if it were me, I probably would have just like cut it there.
Yeah.
But I do like how you integrate it, because then it like I think it just works.
Yeah, it's one of the, I don't know, it's one of those tricky things, isn't it? If you were making it as a short film, you wouldn't obviously have that in. But it's
exactly.
The idea of me being exploding in one shot and the next one being like really happy.
No, it's so funny too, because I remember in like one of these, I think it was like just your head talking or something, because there was still, I don't know.
Oh, there's one when I get swallowed by something and I continue that on and I'm in his intestines.
That was, oh my goodness, man. That was, it's so funny because you either are like totally fine or you like continue the segment.
Yeah,
which I think either way is great.
That's a good point. I should probably have a bit of continuity.
Again, I feel weird because I don't want to be the one like influencing.
No, it's a good point. You know, I suppose the problem with a lot of them is they're like I'm working right until the final hour, and I'm like, oh god, I've got to do this thing at the end to shout at my patrons and stuff.
No, that's fair. I get that. And I didn't think about that. I guess time,
but it would be. I do like the ones when they're a bit more.
So you do set deadlines for yourself with these projects. Then?
As much as I can. I tend to upload them on a Saturday evening because a lot of my audience is in the USA. So I've got to do it in the evening, so you guys get it kind of midday or in the morning. So I can't do it too early in the day for me. And also, if I do it on a Saturday, I figure that's when people are like around. Whereas if I did it, say, Friday night, people are going to school or work or whatever, so it's kind of less likely. So that's tactical. But yeah, there gets a stage where I'm like doing crazy long days. I'm just like, I've just got to get this video out just for my own sanity. So I'll be suddenly...
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, just need to get them out. So that's usually the deadline. Yeah.
Do you have like a specific workflow, like a to-do list or something to get through each day? Or is it just kind of, I got to do this? Or is it just more so like a mental checklist?
Yeah, it's basically just the list of everything I need to do in the video. And then if I haven't done this by this day, then I'm screwed because I'm not going to get the whole thing done by Saturday, kind of thing. I
noticed that you were wearing in one of your videos, I think your more recent making of video, I believe, you were wearing a "Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared" shirt.
Oh yeah.
And this leads me to ask, what is your relationship with Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared, like as a personal creator, not of the show, but like as your own content and a consumer of Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared?
Oh wow.
Well, how has that influenced you?
You can probably tell they've been quite a big influence on the stuff.
Oh, I'm sure, right? I could kind of tell. Because when I first saw your content, I'm like, oh, it's like a mix of Tomska and Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared in a way.
Yeah, and that's an awesome thing to hear. Oh god, yeah, I just love them. I just kind of fell in love with every single one and tried to not completely copy them, but
right, yeah, I don't think you do. I think you have your own spin on it for sure, especially with all the meat that you include.
Indeed.
My goodness.
Yeah, I'm making a plasticine one at the moment just to do something other than meat.
Wow, I'm so proud of you.
Yeah. It's like breaking the addiction. I'm worried everything's looking like plasticine. Don't hug me, I'm scared.
Yeah, when did you first discover them? Because for me personally, I discovered them because my friend's like, hey, I want to show you this creepy thing. And I'm like, I don't want to watch it. And they finally made me watch it. And that was the first one.
I think they had 3 of them were out when I found them, but I can't remember when that would have been. That was obviously they do like one a year or whatever, or they were doing one a year. Yeah, so a few years ago. I think I might have actually just found them through Tomska, to be honest. He might have tweeted them out. I can't think, unless it was just suggested on my YouTube, but I just kind of instantly fell in love.
Did you hear about the apparent TV show they're doing? I don't know. I don't know much about it. I don't even know if that's what they're doing still, but...
Well, as I understand it, they've made a pilot. They shared it at a film festival, and they're currently in the process of trying to get funding for a series with the pilot.
My fear is it being like way too censored simply because it's on TV. Like they're... Yeah. I don't want them to like be... muffled creatively in a way, you know. So that's why I love the internet so much, because people can make whatever they want. Good example is your channel for sure.
I don't think I'll be getting a Netflix show anytime soon.
Do you even want a Netflix show? That's my question, because I don't think I would.
They'd be good and bad, wouldn't they? Because it would be like you'd get the funding to do amazing things, but then like you say, there's the worry that you've got to then answer to someone, so that it goes
that's fair, but I think your content actually would work for a Netflix original. It's like, it's so original. Like, it's not a review, it's not makeup, you know, it's like, but you know what I mean? Like, it could work. Like, I see it working, but at the same time, I think it's one of those things that, like, was born for the internet, you know?
Because, I do like the kind of B-movie quality to the videos, you know, they're all, like, the special effects.
B-movie quality? Are you serious? Oh, as in, like, the actual B-movie?
Oh, no, like it. No, not like the beat.
That's what I thought you meant. I'm like, what?
No,
not really. I understand now. Okay. I wasn't sure.
Yeah, that's actually my main inspiration.
Totally. I totally see it now, man.
Yeah.
Totally.
Open your eyes.
I mean, that brings up about like the animations that you integrate in your videos. Well, because you kind of integrate animation with like real life effects.
Yeah.
Where did you get inspiration like from that? Because that's a very interesting thing. Because I don't think Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared has special effects really.
Yeah, they have the odd,
not a lot.
Like hand-drawn animated sections, don't they?
Hand-drawn, yeah. Well, for some of them, yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of like the, I can't think of it, but you made like a making of video of like just the thing. It was the porous object. I can't remember
As in the boil that bursts?
Yeah, sorry, yeah, that.
Yeah. Actually, most of my special effects or most of my puppets have some form of After Effects in them. But I guess I kind of try and do it so you can't tell. Not being like a proper puppeteer or anything, I don't know the actual techniques. So it's all very much, hang on, my arm's in shot. Or there's a wire there or something, so I'll remove that.
So basically what I'm hearing is that I'll fix it in editing, right?
Yeah, as little as possible, but there's always a lot to do.
No, that's fair.
And then certain things like that boil, I literally couldn't think how to do it without compositing it in. Yeah, I feel like I don't mind using digital effects if it's... Because I'm no good, again, with like CGI, with actual like computer-generated stuff. The only way I like to use effects myself is, dropping, compositing, so dropping stuff in that I've made practically.
And I mean, it works.
Yeah.
Like, it looks... It's so good though, because it looks like quite realistic, even though obviously it's not, but just like it doesn't look cheap. And that's the thing, because I feel like, you're welcome. Like I saw like all of your like breakdown videos and stuff. Yeah. And it's just like, wow. I don't like you lost me in like the first like 30 seconds. I'm like, wait, what? But to be fair, I don't use like Premiere. That's probably why, but still, it's still a lot.
I don't mind if it looks, like I was saying, B-movie-ish. As long as people like look at it and can't think how I've done it, I quite like that.
Exactly. That's why I was.
Naff, as long as you can't work out how it's done. Like the puppets, I suppose, never look like they're living, breathing things, but they you can't really tell for the most part. Like you can't really tell how they're operated too much and kind of work within that.
Here's a very interesting question that I've never asked anybody on this podcast before. But there's a very specific reason I'm asking. Why did you say yes to this interview?
I'd heard... Well, actually, no, I only realised that after I said yes, that I'd heard some of your stuff before. But I don't get asked to do many interviews, and I thought, that sounds cool.
Wow. I'm kind of surprised because of how, like, unique your content is, The reason I'm asking is because, like, I feel like a lot of these, like, bigger YouTubers, like, don't... And like, I get it, too. Like, I get their side. I, like, completely understand. So it was weird because... For the podcast, basically I tweeted you out saying that like I loved your work and saying that like I wanted to know like the creative process behind like these things and stuff. And you actually replied, and I wasn't used to that because I was just like, wait, what? So not gonna lie, it made my day because I'm like, whoa, that's really cool. So I appreciate
no worries,
like you taking the time for this. Like,
well, I suppose it goes back to that when you asked me if I consider myself a big YouTuber. I'm not inundated with like requests to do interviews, so the only reason for me saying no would just be because I can't be bothered.
Right, yeah. No, and I get that because like because these bigger YouTubers are like busy with like their own projects, and
if
I feel like
100 a day or something, and I'd be like, no, I physically can't do that many interviews, but I don't get asked and sounded fun and no reason I shouldn't.
I feel like when it comes to smaller YouTubers attempting to get the attention of bigger YouTubers, I feel as if the bigger YouTuber sees it as just a way to steal subs or like attention or whatever, which isn't like always true. Like that's not how I think.
I guess again, not having been approached much, but I reckon that there's probably a way of going around about it, isn't there?
Oh, for sure. No, I get that. Like that's half the battle.
And I imagine, like I can't imagine like someone like Tom Scar, for example, his sheer volume of like Twitter notifications, he just probably doesn't physically see them all. If you are a smaller YouTuber trying to gain a bit of traction and your stuff's good, how do you then go about... Because that's literally the only way my channel blew up, is by just having him. The quality of my videos hasn't really changed since the breakup buddy. It's just that initial weight of his name attached to the video.
That's fair for a specific type of content, right? Because I'm not gonna lie, my series called Gems of the Internet, almost every single one of those like people I've gotten into like contact with because that video has been made, and like I share it to like their subreddit and like everything like that. So yeah, obviously I'm using their name, but I'm literally like praising them for their work. You know, like I'm not trying to use them for views. The whole point of like my channel is to like find these like unique and amazing things on the internet that not many people know about and like inform people about them because they're definitely worth the credit.
Like you say, it benefits them and you kind of thing.
Exactly, right?
Yeah. Whereas you're not doing like drama alert or whatever it is when you're like just insulting someone.
Right. No, I'm not that kind of person. Nah.
And I think that's a bit completely different thing then, isn't it?
I feel like that's kind of like on the opposite side. That's like what the bigger YouTubers see as like, oh, you're gonna use me for exposure and views. Yeah. It's like, well, double-edged sword. Yeah. It really depends on intention, I feel. Because then you're bringing up the conversation of like, well, who isn't doing that if you think about it? Because that's a tough answer. Yeah. Well, I
assume everyone's got the same kind of goal, whether you're trying to do it nicely or, like you say, as long as you do it the right way.
That also leads me to ask, in your opinion, should people follow trends and do what's popular, or should they make the content that they're actually passionate about?
That's the thing, yeah. You wanna make, I suppose, what you wanna be known for.
Yeah, which is why I'll never be a commentary channel, even though I know I would have blown up by now if I was, but I'm not.
Yeah, but that's cool, because then, when you take off, it's kind of like, you're happy then.
That's why I've just stopped watching, like, YouTube advice videos, because I'm doing literally the opposite of what they say, and I have to do the opposite of what they say in order to make the content that I actually want. Like, heavily researched, heavily edited, like, they're preaching post every day, and I'm like, bruh. I can't. I literally can't. I wouldn't be able to make this content, which is why I love your stuff, because it's always quality every single time you upload, which I do appreciate.
Personal preference now, I just make what you want to make. I suppose you gotta be passionate about making the thing. If I'm 100% honest, I have tried. I have dabbled in.
Well, like what YouTuber hasn't at least once, right? Yeah. Do you have any advice for any small YouTubers? Whether they're just starting out or they're making content now.
It's the same advice I've heard from others so many times, but I suppose you've just got to like love the thing you're doing, and then with a hope that it will eventually get somewhere. Like I was making these weird videos for years before anything happened.
Right, yeah.
And I'd still be making them now, even if my channel hadn't suddenly jumped up. I mean, I wouldn't have stuck at it that long and ever actually gotten anywhere if I hadn't have loved it as much as I did. So I suppose you just got to be happy. Yeah, so I suppose just do the thing you love.
There's not much else you can say. I mean, it's pretty universal. Not just to just like content creation, but life in general, because you live one life, so why not make the best of it and at least try? Well, Will, thank you so incredibly much for joining this podcast. I really appreciate the time that you took.
Well, it's been a pleasure. No problem. Sorry if I've just realized if you can hear my chair creaking for all of this.
Nah, I did not notice at all, so you're fine. Now in editing, no, I'm kidding.
Yes, as you listen to it back, you're like, oh god, nothing but chair.
I've been listening to a chair the entire time. What? Yeah. Would you like to shout out anything?
Me? No, I can't.
All right, cool. That's fine. Thank you, everybody, for listening to Creative Minds. This has been amazing. Thank you, Will, again, for coming on the show. Really appreciate it. And we will see you in 2 weeks. Remember, stay creative.